have you ever met someone and instantly felt that they are the most attractive, most like glowing? They just have this energy which you cannot disconnect with. So that's charisma, right? Like very few people actually carry an amount of charisma where you feel that you feel like just being around them makes you feel delighted. That makes you feel like amazing about yourself. More, it's more about you than themselves, right? So yeah, so I just wanted to talk about this phenomenon because of the new dating culture which is happening currently. So I am in my late 20s, you guys know it by far. People, I've been interacting with a lot of people who are in their early 20s somewhat. So I was in a relationship for like 6 7 years. So I have never used any dating apps. I have never used anything. I have any such app that is present online. I was completely unaware of it. I mean, I was aware of it, but I was never a consumer of it. So this is the first time I'm like, so it's been a year since I am single. I broke up from a very beautiful relationship that I was in for past 6 7 years. We had an amazing split. Like, we both are happy in our own lives now. So yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, now that I'm like, after a year, I feel I should like try dating or understand the culture, how it's going and what it's been. Because when I was like supremely young, or maybe when I was in my teens or I was in my early 20s, I have done that enough. But now I think I'm out of practice, and I don't even consider dating to be something that is important to me, because I'm so much into my work, into like being fit, or in my hobbies. I mean, apart from my work and fitness, like when I do, I mean, the rest of the time goes with my family or pursuing some hobby or something like that. So I don't have time for dating. I don't have time for. So I just felt like, it's been a year already. Why not give it a try? Like, to understand. So I installed this app. I just explored the page, and I understood that the current culture is rigged, man. It's very different from, maybe it's like, I don't think I can genuinely like connect with somebody online without like, you can be friends at least. I mean, you can be friends. I mean, at least what I meant was, you can try to be a friend, but you cannot like find a lover in that way. Maybe it's just one idea of me. Maybe I have not explored enough. That's why I'm saying all this. But yeah, since then I have been exploring in my head and thinking about what kind of people I genuinely want to date, what are my likes and dislikes, what are people who I genuinely interested in, right? So yeah, so this thesis of mine is coming after those examination that I've done over and over in the past couple of months. And dating, like this online thing, has been fairly new. Like, it's just been a week, so I could be complete naive, or how is it that being emotionally unavailable, being chill in a way, is cool? Like, it's not. I feel the more involved you are with somebody, the more interested you are, the more interesting the other person becomes, right? So I feel there's this new era of entire I don't give a shit, I don't care, this is who I am, take it or leave it kind of the whole presentation that people carry these days is, I think, bullshit. Because I mean, if you don't show enough emotional how do I explain, like, availability, then I don't think the other person would. I mean, you remember those dating tricks that used to be there a couple of years back, or maybe now? I mean, it's more prevalent now than it was earlier. It was bullshit back then. It's bullshit now. It will be bullshit in the coming years as well, because nobody can teach you how to. You remember this movie Partner? where Salman Khan was teaching Govinda how to uh, how to get a girl, and then Salman Khan said that सादगी ये तेरा personal style वो कैसे सिखाऊं तुझे. So that's something that you cannot teach. That's something that cannot be learned. You just have to be yourself first. And the most charismatic people, the most interesting people are somebody who are not scared of being themselves. They're somebody who would, even if they are flawed, even if they laugh at their own jokes the loudest, they are weird. They are somebody who don't, they would care but not enough to change themselves. They would accept and also let the other person accept them, right? You give them enough room so that other person will also accept you, right? That is what charisma is, I feel. You cannot, for how long will you pretend that you don't care? For how long will you pretend to be somebody when the actual love happens in the weirdness? The actual, when the person actually falls in love with you or wants to be with you, is when they accept you fully, not the perfect side of you that you present out, right? So yeah, that being the first part, is just being available emotionally, just being there, just being weird, and just letting the other person accept who you are, and also accepting yourself for who you are. I mean, that's what, right? When they laugh without holding it in, right? They are just doing it. I mean, like, let your reactions land. When you're charismatic, you don't care what other people are actually thinking about you. You just be who you are. The other thing could be like curiosity is something where other person is genuinely getting interested in you, like he's just being curious about who you are, right? And then, like, you don't have to pretend to be curious, like not in a way that where you are just putting out how do I describe, you're just putting out a facade, you're putting out uh, a image that you are interested, not like that. You just genuinely have to be interested in the other person. And how do you show that genuineness? By actually being interested. So there's this line, it's not how you make, it's not how you say, it's how you, it's not what you say, it's how you make them feel, right? So at the end of the day, if you don't make them feel, and how will you make somebody feel good? By genuinely being interested, not just pretending to be interested, or just pretending to compliment somebody, just saying it for the sake of saying it. No, you cannot do that. You have to genuinely be interested, to be able to make friends, to be able to make lovers, to be able to make anything. You have to be present. You have to be in a position where you can actually understand other person, and that understanding comes from just being curious, just want to know what is happening in the other person's life, and maybe then the other person would also reciprocate in the same fashion. Have you heard of this thing called mirroring in the mind? When you actually see the other person, like how people say, like, married people actually end up becoming siblings, because they have this, end up doing so many things together that they start mimicking, they start mirroring each other. So similarly, this theory is like this, it's kind of like, this scientifically saying, like, when you genuinely mirror the other person's, like not physically, but of course it starts to happen also physically after a point, but then initially it's more about your mental resonance, like, you resonate more emotionally. Like, what happens, like, sometimes when you're trying to say something and the other person is like, yeah, I was about to say that. So those kind of instances will only happen when you do the first two steps that I just said, like when you're genuinely interested, when you're actually not asking them questions, they actually want to know why they did that, right? Like, more than asking them question, you would be like, why did you do what you do? Like, why did you do what you did, like in that fashion? So I feel then those scientific elements of self-help gurus can enter. after a point. This is completely my observation. I have no idea if these are facts or true, but the more I'm getting into it, the more, like, the idea, the more the more I'm exploring this idea of, dating, and I'm able to understand what, like, as you grow old, you just wish you could have done a lot of things better when you were younger. I don't know how this young, like the new generation, actually approaches the entire idea of dating, but I heard, like, Kunal Shah say this, like, in India the dating culture is so poor that that's the reason people are not able to make great businesses, because they don't know how to sell themselves. And that is true, because for the fourth point, what I'm going to say is the entire idea of selling yourself, it has to be genuine, right? You cannot make a poor product and do a great marketing and expect it to, like, make you $1 million company, right? Like, it cannot happen. Your product has to be right, you have to be honest, it has to be seen in your eyes that you are not freaking lying, and you are not somebody uh, who is a fraud, right? I mean, that goes so perfectly with your business and relationships. Like, you cannot be a fraud, you cannot sell a different idea. Maybe you're hiding some emotion inside you, you don't feel genuine about the other person, but you're just doing it, right? Like, if you're just not feeling about it, like, in the first few weeks or months, just be honest. Just, we lot of times just hold back, thinking like what the other person might think, and then it just delays the entire process of letting it go, and you just don't realize you are just have just ended up with that person for, like, and you could have just said that, you could have just made things clear, and just because you initially felt how would the other person feel, and like, sometimes just being selfish helps everyone, not just you but the other person as well. To be able to be selfless, you have to be selfish first. That's true. And stop romanticizing this idea. Like, I recently wrote this, which is, there's there's a lot of intimacy in never speaking again. There is indeed. I mean, you don't have to, like, I hold some of the most beautiful moment with the people I was with, and we don't talk, but it's still so intimate, it's so personal, it's so beautiful, that I don't know you will ever find those people ever in their life. You just move on, and maybe you will make newer memories, better memories, or I don't know, but those things won't leave you, right? They just become the foundation of what you build upon. So I feel those building blocks are also very important for a great foundation. Maybe we can make a part 2 of it once I understand more about this new age. No, it's not new age. When I was in college, these apps exist, everything was there. It's just that I was not into it because I was already with somebody, and even later on I got involved in my work and all of that, so I could never explore it. But now I just did it just to understand, because now I was open to the idea of dating, so that's why I thought, why not give it a try. But then I don't know if that is something I would genuinely want to do again and explore there. But it just feels weird, like doing this, like right left, it's so weird. I don't want to do it. Maybe I'm just I'm just acting too old, though I'm not old. I'm still in my 20s, but I'm still acting so old. I don't know why. I have this fascination, because earlier I was not able to accept that I was getting older, and now that I've accepted it so much, I just go and tell everyone about my age and how I'm feeling about it, and how it just, maybe, like, sometimes I feel I'm just convincing myself that I'm aging more than I'm telling the other people. It's the other way around. So yeah, I would love to end it in one way, is that no matter what, whichever time you are born in, past, future, present, this one thing will always remain. This forget this idea of chase, forget this idea of, because these are like, you know, slight dopamine rush that you give to the other person. This is not long run. If you want to succeed in the long run game, you have to be genuine, you have to be absurd, you have to be yourself. How Kamo used to push this entire thing, right, about absurdity and how you have to find meaning in that. And I feel similarly, like the other person who will, there is a person waiting out there who will find meaning in your absurdity, your weirdness, your something which you find weird and you feel like you won't be accepted for that. I mean, don't do any criminal act or stuff like that, but something you feel is weird and which is very normal for the other person. Maybe I was busy working, busy doing things that I just skipped last 6-7 years of my life. So I want to get back to it again, and I'm having a tough time doing that.